Welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about how to configure your hotkeys. So some of you are out there trying to use hotkeys whenever you're doing your day trade, and it does help. It's not going to make you the perfect trader, but it will get you an edge that you need. So hello, welcome again. Today I'm Marcus Smith at tradesmith.io. Today we're going to go into how to configure this little thingamajig here called a stream deck. Now I did some previous videos on that, and I did show videos of me actually using these tools to actually do trades. But what I want to do is really take my time and walk through why it's important to learn how to configure this thing, because I see a few of you all have issues whenever it comes down to how to launch this with your software, or even how to make sure that it works. Now, by default, it's on my vMix, so you can see my intro and all that stuff that I'm doing here. But there is a home screen, and I have it set so that I am able to actually configure this for day trading. Now, this is my home screen. This is just looking at different tools. And the first thing you want to know is, well, why do I need to configure a stream deck to do my hotkeys? And you don't. Whenever you're trading on any type of platform, a lot of them already will have the ability for you to actually, do hotkeys. So, for example, here I do have this Sterling. It's a simulator, but it's Sterling, and most platforms, whenever you use, or brokers that are catering to day traders, they will have this set up. And of course, you can just go into view your settings, and they'll have an area that is called hotkeys, and you can see it. Now, I will go into this in detail and show you this, but the thing about hotkeys is, just by default, is you can make a lot of mistakes on your computer. Sometimes I use other softwares, and I may be using these same hotkeys for other softwares that I'm doing. Like, if I'm doing a Control C, that's also for copying something else. Of course, you should have other softwares, removed, but it just makes it easier when you configure it and make this more of a one button action instead of a two button action. Another thing that I may do is, some people they're not familiar with doing like a shift one or Control C, Control V, or Control Z. They don't know that they have to hold down that control. Very important, because if you're on, let's say that I'm on here and I want to do a hotkey, and I'm trying to do a Control Z, all it's going to do is type Z in here. And sometimes I notice that it'll even put a Z, and it'll switch me to a whole different stock, and I'm totally confused and I don't know what to do. So you want to make it so that you don't have to hold down the control, and remember to make sure you get that kinesthetic motion, or that physical motion of pushing that control button down. But the key is making sure that you turn those hotkeys into a one button action. And by default, I do like the Stream Deck, because the Stream Deck actually makes it easy for me to change these buttons. Now, X keys are something that it's not anything new. Especially if you do any type of videography, you'll know that you can basically set. You can buy some X keys, and they come in like a little strip, and most of them just look like buttons. But one thing that's good about this is it can give you more of a picturesque type feel, and you can actually see what you're clicking on, so it can give you a visual. Like if I want to go to my actual trading hotkeys, I can go here. If I want to go to my Chrome, I can use it for different softwares and applications. This is Trade Ideas. I can go back to my vMix here. So if I want to go to my vMix, I can click on it, and then you can see some of the videos for camera one, camera two, and all that stuff. But I'm gonna go back here. I can also do it to launch websites. So people like to look at FinViz while they trade. I have my stock tweets, which are here. I have my Warrior Pro course. When I get up in the morning, this is probably the first button I click. This is a course that I am reviewing currently. I've been a student for probably about 6 months now. CMEG, there's DAS. This is tradesmith.io for my website. So if I want to go to that, I can easily click and go to that. And then if I want to pull up my simulator, I have it here. But my point is you can configure just multiple keys and you can easily change it. So let's go take a look here at my desktop over here. Now this is um, the way that the software looks with Stream Deck. So when you have the Stream Deck software, you can kind of see the same thing that I was on my home screen. You can set up multiple profiles. You can use it for other softwares. And of course, you can add those nifty little visual designs if you want. You can add an icon or you don't have to. But the key is to make sure that I can set up multiple profiles. So I may try to zoom in over here real quick. So let me try to do this. This is just going to be me just ad-libbing. So it may be some periods where I need to go over here and maybe adjust. But it's to give you that viewing pleasure. So I'm going to zoom over here. Oh, I actually closed my window here. Let me open it back up. So I want you all just to see basically how everything is set up over here. So this is basically having all of these different profiles, and I can have a tradesmith.io for my vmix, but I also use it for DAZ. And then of course you can create multiple profiles, one for Sterling, which is for my live account, my CMEG account. Then I have one for my simulator, and then I have stuff for other profiles that I'm using. So it's important to make sure that you get the Stream Deck, and you can make infinite number of buttons. So if I want to do like a folder, I can do a folder and go into it and go back out. But for trading, I use it where I have it similar to what actions I'm going to do. First, I have the software on one column and buy or sell. And I don't like putting a buy or sell on every page because you can accidentally forget which one that you're on. So as I'm clicking through these, and maybe I'll give you an example by going back to my camera over here. So for example, if I'm clicking through it, I want it to switch to be on the one that I really am focused on. So if I'm focused on doing my simulator, I go into my simulator, and if I want to focus on my buy, I can have a profile for buy, and I can go back and have a profile for sell. So you want to play with making sure that you have different pages and folders, and it's really easy to do. So when you do have that software, you can actually configure that all in one motion. So as I'm going through here, you can actually set it up per software. So this is my simulator, this is my DAZ, and this is my live. The reason why that's important is because you may want different hotkeys and different, even position, the way you're going to do different sizing. Every software will be configured inside of the software. For example, I am on, if you look on my screen over here, I am focused on using my simulator. So in my simulator here, I am using my Warrior Pro simulator. This isn't live. Even though my actual software looked just like this for Sterling, this is a white label copy. The only thing that's different, you'll see the Trader Pro icons, and then you have your aptitude, and then of course you can see like your strength overall and all that, your stats. But this is a different software, and when you configure it, you're gonna still configure it in your settings area for that software. So if I'm doing it in DAZ, I'm gonna log into DAZ and I'm gonna configure it in DAZ. If I'm in my live Sterling account, which is by CMEG, I'm gonna be in that profile over there. So when you look at these different softwares, they're totally configured separately. So in my live, I may be sizing for an average size for my trade may be only like 300 shares, but in my simulator, I may have it at 1,000. So that's one thing that is good about having the Stream Deck. You can go straight from practice mode in different platforms and different softwares straight to game mode when you're ready to actually you do live trades, and you can keep all those profiles separate. So that's the main reason why Stream Deck is handy. I wouldn't recommend that you do live streaming on one on Stream Decks as well as trying to trade live. You can see I'm just kind of juggling in between. You don't want too much. But the key is if you do it right, you can have everything segmented so that when you're completely in the mode of buy or sell, whichever one I'm doing here, you're basically in that profile and you're not going to make that mistake of clicking on anything else for any other software. So that's the main thing that I wanted to do. What I will do is start going into how you actually start setting up your hotkeys inside of the software. Now, again, this is Sterling Pro, but it works, and I will do more videos for other softwares, such as, I've hear requests for, can you do hotkeys in something like TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, Webull. I've been hearing about DAS. Uh, Again, the platform, it will be limited to whatever that broker give you access for. There's softwares like Lightspeed that is really key for giving you access to, being a day trader and giving you access to hotkeys. So that is dependent on your broker. So for Sterling Pro, in this example, they do have a default. So that's a prerequisite. Remember that. The software has to give you access or have that functionality in order to give you hotkeys. So in Sterling, whenever I start by default, you won't see all of these. Some of these are already configured, but you can see that I have it set up. So when you look at on my Stream Deck here, I am in the profile for Sterling Pro. So it's up here. So I am in that buy mode, and you can see, I can buy 1,000, I can buy 2,000, buy 3,000. These are all like, and they're all buying on the axe. If the stock is having a high momentum, you want to make sure that you get in quick. So sometimes you want to maybe buy on the axe. Sometimes you may want to sell on the bid or sell on the axe. One thing that's important to know is I do not use hotkeys for my entry. I still use my order window. Very important. I think that was something that a lot of us that were in the warrior trading course definitely asked a lot. And you didn't see that a lot. I hope that's one thing I think that he could have done a better job is really showing you that. I think when I finally got into his course, I did get that information just by watching him. But you only time you may want to use, one of these, like I want to get in quick on the axe, is if the stock is just crazily moving from a momentum standpoint. But basically, that is kind of what I do first is really understand how do I set it up for my profile. Now I'm in a buy profile, which is on my account here. So when I'm looking at my Stream Deck, again, I'm here on my buy, and you see that I have, buy 3K, buy 2K, buy 1K, and all of these images are just images that I pull from the internet. So you can pull an image and you can basically say, I want to, select the image here, and you can basically, pull it up in a folder. Some people have asked, can I send them the icons that I use? I mean, you can do that. I may make that available. Definitely like and subscribe and let me know. But I just basically pull something that is visually appealing so that I understand what I am doing here. So let's go and just look at one key here. So I'm going to just look at the buy 1,000, and we're going to kind of configure just this. Since I'm in my buy profile, again, I'm not in a sell profile. If I was in a sell profile, I would be shorting at the beginning. And again, I will use my order entry window, unless it's something that's like crashing down. I just want to get in. I'll hit the short 1K, 2K, 3K, whatever. But again, I will not, I normally will use the order window to do that. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go into this buy profile, and let's focus on setting up one here. And you can see it's already set for shift one. And when we go over to the software here, you'll see that over here, maybe I need to zoom in on this one as well. So let me zoom in 1 second here. So I'm going to zoom in just a little. All right. So just so that you see it here, let me zoom in a little more. Let me know if you see that. All right. So um, by default, you'll see that shift one, this shift one key is to buy 1,000. So this is the name that you have, and I'll click into this, and then you can see the action. Now the quantity, you can see that. Oh, wait 1 minute, I changed that to 100. So it's very important to know that you still have to set it in the software. So make sure your software matches what you're putting on your hotkeys. So on my hotkey, of course, I said that I was going to set it for 1,000, and you can see that that's not true. It's not for 1,000. It's actually 400. So let's go into one of these and let's edit it. So you can click edit here, and you can see where it opens, and you can see basically everything is in a form. So that the action here, I'm going to buy, and instead of 100, I'm going to buy 1,000 shares, and it's going to be on the current symbol, which depending on in the order window, currently I have like Tesla selected. And then of course, this is the most important part. When you're looking at it from, again, hotkeys, it will not make you a better trader. It only gives you an edge, but you still have to have a strategy. So if a stock is moving so fast that it's going up, you just want to get in, you want to buy on the axe, and because it is really still moving in that momentum, you may need to adjust and say, you know what, I want to buy 5 cents above the axe. So that's very important, and that will reduce you from having slippage in your orders. So that if you're trying to get in, you're trying to buy 1,000, you want to make sure that you get that order filled. So you want to make sure that whenever you're setting this, especially on the buy on these buttons here, again, these are more highly momentum buttons. I rarely use these, especially for 1,000 shares, but definitely when you're practicing, when you build your account to a certain level, you definitely will want to get in. You're going to be sizing up into the trade. Also, you may want to make sure that you get in. So you have your account, your destination, all of that you can set by default. But really, the key is just naming it, making sure you have your proper quantity. You can put in your price. So instead of putting in the actual price, you're putting in whatever the ax is plus 5 cents. So that guarantees me to get an order filled. Well, not guarantee, but it makes the propensity a lot higher. Load and go. So you want to load it because when you hit this hotkey, you're ready for it to actually knock out that order. And then, of course, naming it to make sure that you can trace it back. And then just hit OK. So you can see that I updated the quantity here to 1,000. And now it actually matches what I have on my stream deck. So really, you're doing the same thing. You're looking back and forth at whatever your key is. So now we're doing it for shift two. And of course, if you want to ever change these, you can always change it and you can edit it. But I kind of just stick with this model, shift one, shift two, and this is where you actually will set it. But really what I'm doing is making sure everything is set up in the software, and I'm adding it to my stream deck. So again, this is doing 2,000 shares. Then there's 3,000 shares on the axe. And the reason why I'm doing this again, these are like high momentum. Like I just want to make sure that I get in. So another thing is, let's go into order cancel. So this is important as well. So when you're looking at this, you can see that this one is set to control Q, which is the same that is on here. And one thing I do to make it easy at the beginning, when I really want to remember, what's going on here with my hotkeys, is you can print and export it. So once you get familiar with it, and you can just basically either print it or you can just make it a PDF, and it will export onto a sheet, and you can just have it as a reference so that you know what is set up in the software. But again, having a Stream Deck will make it a little more manageable where you don't have to remember as much. You just kind of look at your visuals. So um, I think the one that I was looking at is Control Q. I think I don't have it on here. So let me see if there's one that's already set for canceling the order here. Let me see. I may be missing it. Oh yeah, here it is right here. So cancel all orders. Now these are default, the ones that are in blue, default functions or actions, and you can just set one here. So I have it set to Control Q, which is also on my Stream Deck. So if I ever put in an order and the order is not being filled, and sometimes you may notice that, especially when you have an order put in your order window over here. Let me go back here. Um, Whenever you place an order, you may see orders that will be sitting in your order window. Let's say that you push it and the order is not filled. You can quickly cancel the order and then put in a new order. And that's one thing you want to be able to do. When I had experience in just using hotkeys straight on my keyboard and not on Stream Deck, I noticed that I had to be very quick at using the Control Q. And sometimes because I'm like, I got very big fingers, so sometimes I'm a little clumsy. I noticed that I'll put an order in and I'll say, oh, wait, I want to get out. I'll try to hit Control Q, but I wasn't fast enough. But with this, you can basically use your Stream Deck whenever I put in an order, and sometimes I even move the keys, like I may move it over. And that's one thing that's great about Stream Deck. You can also move the keys in an order where it's ergonomically correct. So if I'm on my, let's say that I'm on my Stream Deck and I want to make sure that it's easy for me, I'll put in my order. And when I'm waiting on my order to get filled, sometimes I want this button to be close to my bailout button, and we'll talk about the bailouts. But sometimes I may say, you know what, I got my order set, and I want to back out of it really quick. I can quickly hit that, and I'm all clear. So let's talk a little bit about the bailout buttons. And I know the first thing that everyone asks is, what is this button here? And we'll get to that last. But the bailout buttons is after you got into an order. Now I use these buttons at the bottom more than any button out of all the buttons that I use. We use a phrase called breakout or bailout. So if I'm looking at a bull flag and I'm about to see that stock either do a fake of a breakout or a false breakout or a bull trap, I need to see that quick and I will bail out. And we'll go into that setting in 1 second. So it's important to know that if you have this, you want to have it where, again, my thumbs, it's more like a joystick. My thumbs can quickly click on those, especially when I'm in the trade. And then, of course, you can see I have these sell. So I have sell 25%, sell 50, sell 100. So if I'm buying the stock, I'm in my buy profile, and I decide that I want to bail out, I can click bail out if it's not going my way. If it is moving, sometimes it's better to sell on the axe as well, because you can potentially get a better profit. So if it's going up, 5 cents, 6 cents, 7 cents, 10 cents, if I hit bailout is if it's not going your way, and we'll look at the configurations in a sec. It's really, again, when we talked about when you want to use these momentum keys to get in real fast, it may be on the axe plus some change, 5 cents for whatever, depending on what type of stock you're trading. This one will be the exact opposite. That means that I may need to, when I bail out, I may bail out, and it may be below, 5 cents less than the price because the stock is going down. So let's go and just look at that really quick, and maybe that'll give some closure on what I'm mentioning here. So let's go to the software here. So let's look at, now that I want to bail out, which that bailout that I have, it's set for Control Z on here, and maybe I'll show it to you on the Stream Deck here. I have it set for Control Z, and I tell myself that it's on bailout. And the others, let me see if I can see it here. If I click on it, oh no, let me click on it over here. You can see the others is Control K, and then you can see Control L, and then you can see the Control semicolon. So these hotkeys are already set. So for Control Z, we're gonna put this on uh, selling full bid, and this is on the bid, not on the axe. So this is when I want to get rid of everything and it's not going my way. And you can set some other ones on the bid. I haven't set these because if it's not going my way, I'm not going to sell half on the bid, and I'm not going to sell a quarter or whatever on the bid. I'm going to just sell all outright. I'm not going to, play around with it. So Control Z here, and I'm going to click edit, open this window here. So Control Z is selling, and it's on the bid minus 5 cents. So again, it's going downward. So I'm setting it so that it gives me some cushion to guarantee that, well, not guarantee, will increase my chances that my order is filled. So when I want to bail out, Control Z or hit this button, I don't want anything to do with it. So I want it to sell everything and get rid of it, and that will help me protect my risk of losing more money. So, but the other ones, again, the other ones that I showed you here, which is the other sell, I like to sell 100% whenever I am selling here. But let's look at Control K, and let's look at what this one is set to. I really had uh, a hard time getting my mind around this the first time because I will be winning in a trade and I'll be hitting the bailout button. But really, what it was doing, you know, it was cutting my profit. I will go for a 10 cent price target. So if it increases by 10, 15 cent, if I hit it right when I'm seeing I should get 15, it's going to sell me, and it's going to hit, when I hit the bid, it's going to sell at, 10 cents or 5 cents less than what I want. But when you're selling on the axe, that's when you really can um, take advantage. So Control K is sell axe on the full axe. So let's go into this one. And you'll see that on this one, there's no price adjustment because whatever the axe is, whatever people are willing to pay especially when you got those short sellers trying to get out, they're going to hit the axe to try to, make sure that they get out as soon as possible. So whenever they're doing it, you'll see that you don't have to do any cushion on it. So you see that is very important so that when I'm in a trade and I want to, I'm winning the trade. Let's say that I got in the trade, I didn't have to cancel my order. I see that I'm winning the trade, so I don't have to hit the bailout. I can sell, and that's when I really may want to size out of the trade. So if it's really going well, and I think that there's still some meat left on the bone, so to speak, I may leave it where I only sell half, or I may sell 25%. And that's really what the whole gist of these sell buttons are. Now, I do have one that is here that is for a stop loss, and stop loss is Shift S. I rarely use because I do more of mental stops, but just to show you that you can technically set a stop loss. So this is a stop loss minus 15 cent. Of course, in the trades that I do, it may be less than that. I may do it, 5 cent, 10 cent. This is if the trade actually is going your way and you want to protect your gains. You can basically, set the price where you actually look at the position average price minus 15 or minus, in my case, I may do minus 0.7. Let me do that again. I may have done that wrong. Yeah. And then minus 0.07. Did it wrong again. What did I do wrong? Okay. I have to figure out how to put the price entry on this one. Okay, I'll come back to that one. So, oh, I think you have to just click up or down. I forgot. Yeah, I always forget that. So in Sterling, you have to click up or down, and other ones you can actually put it in. So I'm gonna set that to 7 instead of 15, and that one is again um, whenever I want to do a stop loss, and that one was Shift S, which is here. So that's a stop loss full position. So that is basically what you can use. Now I don't use that one a lot because again I use mental stops. A lot of people ask about this one, and again, this is on my buy profile. If I'm really feeling pretty froggy, I can do what is basically I can max my potential shares. So this is good for if you're in a window, order window, and you want to set it so that you can buy the maximum number of shares that uh, you can afford, depending on your buying power. You can use that before you put it in the order entry window. You click on the order entry window, you hit that, and it will calculate the number of shares that you can afford, and it'll automatically set those shares, and then I can hit the buy button. Basically, that's just maxing out. And again, that's Control P. So if you go over here to the software, I think they have it set in here somewhere. I don't know where I put that one. I don't know where that one is. I can look for that one later. I may have said it, but I'll go to an order entry window just to give you an example. I can't afford this one really, but when I hit that, yeah, it's giving me an order pop up saying that I don't have the buying power. But yeah, basically, it'll change this field for you and it'll make this maximum number of shares that you can afford. So let's hurry up and let's go into the other profiles that I have here. And the other profiles is, again, I'm on my simulator in Sterling, is my sell. So the sell ones are the same way, making sure that I can set these so that if I feel like the stock is going to go down, again, I use the order entry window whenever I am. I don't use the hotkeys to enter an order. So, for example, if I'm looking at this, and of course everything is closed now, but let's say I want to get in at 429, I set it in the order entry window, and I hit buy or sell whatever I'm doing. And of course, you may want to click to see where it's at. So you can click and it'll change the price. And I set that. And the reason why is because I find that it's easier to get a more accurate order whenever you actually use your order window to get into the trade versus, um, you know, trying to use your hotkeys. It's really if the stock is automatically moving and you feel like it's going to move without you, you may, buy on the axe. So that is mainly, what I do for the order entry window. Same thing for shorting. For shorting, if I feel like I want to, short, I will use the order entry window to do that. I will not use the hotkeys to do that. But if it's just moving and I feel like it's going to move without me, I may go ahead and hit this order entry window, and I may just go ahead and you know, um, I may hit this hotkey to make sure that I get in. So again, I use these visuals to help me remember what I'm doing. Um, you know, I'm shorting, and you can change the name. You can say what it's doing, all configuring in here. Same thing with Stream Deck. Like this one, it's a little hard to read. You can do little things like put that on a separate line, and I can see that I'm covering 100% on that. And also, you can change the size. This is why I like Stream Deck. It makes it easy to make sure that everything is readable. Don't have no problems with that, so I can lower the font size if I want. All of that, and it gives a good visual. Change the icon, and I can go and just pull either something from Google Images or create your own custom ones in Photoshop, Canva, whatever you want to use. So I'm doing the same thing here, same model. You notice all of them are kind of to the right of my keyboard here, and again, just to make it ergonomically easy, making sure that I can easily, click on it with my thumbs and don't have to stretch too much. You want to make everything in milliseconds. You want to cut down anything that can slow you down here. So you want to make sure you do that, and you want to make sure that you can make the placements where it's comfortable for you. Also, when I put the cancel order, because I find that I need that the most, to the far right. And if you're left-handed, you no matter, you can adjust it. But what's important here is if I get in and if I put in an order to short and my order needs to be canceled, I can click the cancel. But I also can use the hotkeys if I feel like it's going to go without me. I can do the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, or whatever, depending on your trade plan. You can do 100, 200, 300, 10, 20, 30, whatever is comfortable for you. But the key is these are all covers. Now I have a cover, these four. I have a 25%. I think I have a cover on the axe. So I don't remember why I put that one there, but there was a reason. Trust me, we'll look at that in a sec. And then, of course, there's a cover 100%. Now, all of these are basically set. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me show you over here. All of these are basically set already. And you can see that it's set for Control Z, Control L, and Control C. So we already know about the bailout. The only thing I want to say is that this is different from the other bailout on the buy profile. So we'll go back into our software here. Let me open up my hotkey settings again. And we'll look at that. And again, if you want to print it out, it makes it easy for you to see that. So let me go back to our software. Sorry. All right. So again, Control K, which is the one that I was using for the bailout. So the Control K that you see here is in the software and it's already set. And this is sell on the bid. And this is the full on the bid. So, and this is -5 cents. I'm sorry, this is Control Z. I'm sorry, I'm going to confuse you all. I'm looking at Alt K. The difference between this one, Control Z, is if I'm selling on the bid. That's if I'm more on the buy profile, and this is good because if you're on the buy profile and you want to get out, you want to sell on the bid. But on Alt K, which is the bailout, I'm on a cover full bid. I think I may have that set wrong. Let me see here. Yeah, I think you want to do Alt Z, which is the actual opposite. So I'm shorting or I'm covering. Um, if I'm shorting and I want to cover, it's +5. So let's go ahead and update that, and that's probably why I had to do that. So this is a good teachable moment. It should be Control Alt Z. So let's go and look at what I have here. So I'm going to assign this, and the way you assign it is you click on it and you click that Alt and Z, and now it's configured to the proper one. So now it is set properly to actually cover on the axe. So, and I'm adding +5 cents because if it's, moving, I want to make sure that I get it, get out as soon as possible. So if it's moving against me, again, meaning that it's moving up. So if I'm shorting and it's going against me and it's going up, I want to try to price it above where that price is going, that price action is going, so that it will get me in while I can. And again, this is more of a bailout mentality. I need to get out of this trade. Now the covers, let's take a look at what these covers are set for. I have a cover 100. I think that's why I end up doing that cover 100 because that one, were all set on the wrong one. So let's do a cover where it's going my way and I want to cover, but I want to use the bid on this one. So let's do, if we look at the software here, and again, this is good because you're aligning the Stream Deck to what you want. So this is cover on short on the bid. So I'm gonna do a Control or Alt K. Sorry, I keep saying the wrong one. So let's go back to this one, and we're gonna assign that, since it's a full position, we're gonna assign this to Alt K. So Alt K is now proper, and I'm getting rid of 100. And this is in the case that it is going my favor. I don't want to, and let's look at that in detail of how Alt K is configured. So we're going to click on Edit. And when it opens here, you'll see that whatever the bid is, there's no buffer. No different than when I wanted to sell on the axe. I wanted to just, whatever the axe is at that current price, it's going to basically buy at whatever that bid is. And we'll talk more about that in the future, but that's what the Alt K is for. And the others, as I mentioned, you can do half your position, and you can do, a quarter of your position. Again, sizing in and sizing out of the trade. Really, it's just, 50% or half of whatever shares you currently have. So that's really it. And of course, there is a stop loss for that. I rarely use it, but that's really what I wanted to do, is really go through why it's important to basically have hotkeys in the first place from your broker. Also, making sure that you have a Stream Deck, which if you do want to get the Stream Deck, definitely look in the link in my description, and also in other videos. You can get this. It's not that much, but definitely get it. Show me some affiliate love when you do that. And if you have any questions about how to configure it, definitely send me an email at support@tradesmith.io. I'm definitely passionate about all the technology and the tools that can give you an edge, and I will definitely be there and help. But it's important for you to, I went over why it's important to have the Stream Deck, but also your software that you're using, whether it's Sterling Pro. I may do one for DAS. I may do one for other softwares. Let me know if there's another software that you would like me to cover, and I'll make sure that it's covered, and I'll go over it. Now, daily activities, that one thing I wanted to go over is whenever I come in, and this is the biggest thing because you can do all the configuration in the world, and if you miss this step, your Stream Deck will not work. So it's important to make sure that when you are using the Stream Deck to, I don't know what I just did with my window here. So let me put that back. Oh, reset. Okay, move this. All right, sorry about that. When you are launching, some of my daily activity, it starts with making sure that I run Stream Deck as an administrator. So let's say that the software is closed here, and I'm going to close it, and I will reopen it, and I'll just show you. So let me do this real quick so that you all will be able to see it. I'm going to go to my desktop here. Not sure what you all are able to see. Okay, I'm on that desktop. 1 second. And I am going to pull up. I'm going to quit Stream Deck. So you may have seen it go off. So you see that my Stream Deck just turned off here. But when you come to your software in the morning, make sure, and this is very important, make sure that you launch it as administrator. So you can see that I'm here and I'm looking for a software, and you can't see it because my window is in the way. But let me search for it real quick. So whenever you're getting ready to launch a Stream Deck, I can't pull it up over here. Sorry. Maybe I can open up another monitor. This may be a little confusing, but I'm going to close this. So whenever you're launching your Stream Deck, I'm going to close it real quick. So I know you all can see this, so sorry. This is on a different monitor. So I quit my Stream Deck. So whenever you're trying to launch your Stream Deck, make sure that you run it as administrator. So run it as administrator will guarantee that it will connect to your software. And of course, it will ask, I would say yes. And I'm going to, now that it's running, I am going to go back to my other monitor here. I may have cut out my, okay. So now that I actually ran it as an administrator, the best thing to do is test it by going into your software and seeing if it is working. Now, the first thing I do in my daily activity is CCVT, and I will go to a test stock. And what I would do is just basically, let me go to my Stream Deck profile, and I would basically hit anything on it. And you saw that I hit the bailout button, and you saw that it gave a little pop up. That's letting me know that it's connected. So if I'm trying to do an order or whatever I'm doing, so again, I'm in a simulator, so I can just start placing orders. You don't want to do that when you're on your live account where you're hidden. Like I just hit, buy 1,000, and you can see that it gave me a message saying I don't have the buying power. So if I go here and I hit, and of course you have to make sure whenever you're trading that the order window is selected, and you can see the blue highlight that is on the screen, just showing that I have the order window selected. So I always hit the order window selected, and from there, whatever I push on the hotkey, it's going to control it for that one. And you can see that it just placed that order for that hotkey. I did 1,000 shares, and it bought it right away. Actually, that was 100. I need to save those configurations for 1,000. So let's say I want to buy. It doesn't say I have the buying power for that. Oh yeah, I got my simulator at $5,000 because that's the best way to practice. So that's really it. Whenever I come in, run the software as administrator, select on the order window. Normally, I pick a stock that is to test the ZZVT, and then of course I'll hit something like I hit the bell out or whatever, and that lets me know that it is actively connected. So I know I went over a lot. I wanted to go through a detailed tutorial. Make sure that you have everything that you need whenever it comes down to learning these tools and technologies. Definitely like and subscribe and come to this channel more in the future so that you can actually start seeing some of the things that I'm doing. It's pretty cool to actually experience using some of these tools, but definitely let me know if you have any questions. Hit that like and subscribe. Let me know what platforms you want me to cover next, and I will definitely knock that out. I will see you all later.